Bob, just want to say thank you for spending time with us today to talk a bit about sort of innovation and technology and how this is actually helping sort of transform CLP. Before we start off, though, I understand that you just recently launched a new platform called Smart Energy Connect. Can you maybe share with the audience a bit more about what that platform is?
Thanks, Zane. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. So Smarty Connect, it's our online energy management store that we launched just recently. And what we effectively want to do is help our customers to find energy saving solutions and make that much more simpler. So currently there's lots of innovative solutions that are out there that are based on sensors or IoT devices, but it's very difficult to understand what works, what's secure, are they reliable? And we wanted to reduce that friction for customers so they can go and reach their sustainability goals a lot faster. So within Hong Kong, as an example, there's 40,000 buildings, and it's about 90% of the electricity is consumed by these buildings. And as you've probably experienced, all these buildings are aging. And to save energy there, these smart solutions are really helpful. So getting these deployed really quickly is imperative. So we set up our store where you can find these different energy saving solutions there. You can simply see what's there, how it works. You can actually see videos of these solutions. And then we can also get our engineering team to go and visit on site, design, build, and ongoing support for you. So it really helps getting these things to our hands of our customers a lot quicker.
So the platform's targeted at building management, property management type firms and enterprises, or also consumers can leverage the platform as well?
But we focused on enterprise customers, and really it's based on making sure that we can make Hong Kong buildings a lot smarter. So property managers can, for example, look at energy saving between their portfolio of buildings. For if you've got a large office space, we've all been in meeting rooms that are way too cold, and we've got solutions that can help adjust so you can save energy, but also make sure that you're comfortable in this environment as well. So as soon as you leave your meeting room, we can shut down the cooling, we can shut down the lighting automatically. Or perhaps you've taken a meeting room where it seats 20 people, but there's only 2 of you there. You shouldn't really be doing that. It wastes space, but also wastes energy as well. And we've got smart solutions that help orchestrate all of these things.
Excited to see the platform launch and really keen to see the adoption in Hong Kong. Right? So this is driven through your innovation team then at CLP, is that right?
Yeah. We set up our innovation team a few years ago. And this was really a new endeavor for the company, and as you can imagine, brought a whole lot of new positive changes as well. But we want to make sure that we've got a team that can leverage some of the domain expertise we've got within the company, but then have a fresh look at all these different problems out there and see if we can come up with fresh and innovative solutions for our customers.
So you operate within a very sort of traditional sort of enterprise sort of utility space. And when we look at innovation and that sort of linkage to sort of business results, that's sometimes really hard to sort of bridge together. So how are you sort of trying to drive business results through these innovation type projects that you're actually building?
Yeah, that's a very fair question. It's actually a blessing, but sometimes it can be challenging as well. As you can imagine, we run an immensely complex business where we provide reliable electricity for many places around the region. And we've got lots of practices and processes we've developed over the decades to make sure that customers get the best service possible. But when you're working under that structure, you want to make sure that you can think outside the box. So one of the things that we've done is set up different spaces, and these are physically as well as given room for people to go and look at problems in different ways. As an example, we set up an office in Science Park, which is a Hong Kong technology park, where we can get closer to this ecosystem of innovative startups. And we work closely, collaboratively with these startups to bring innovation so that we can help our core business, but also provide new revenue opportunities and new services for our customers as well. Secondly, we also have a strong innovation culture across our different entities as well. So whenever we've got a problem to be solved, there is a typical way where we look at, well, is there a supplier that could solve that problem? But then now we've done a lot of work to say, well, maybe there are potential partners that are out there that could work with us. And I choose the word partner intentionally as opposed to supplier because it sets a whole different working style. And we've done a lot of work to make sure we can set up that culture.
And then from a cloud technology perspective, has that been an enabler for innovation for you?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny you mention that because a lot of times when you talk about innovation in cloud, people think of it as, well, it really helps startups which are capitally constrained because you have an idea, you've got force of will, you can deploy and test that really quickly. But actually helps a lot with traditional businesses as well. So although most large organizations, they're not capital constrained, there's still business cases that you need to pull through. There is stakeholders that you need to go and test and convince, but also you need to validate and make sure you can convince yourself. And cloud is a huge enabler of that. Same principles apply. You have an idea, you can go and test that and validate that, and you can create MVPs really quickly. And you can go out to customers and get really important feedback. And that becomes really valuable to put that into a business case as opposed to putting fictitious or theoretical projections of what could be. Let's get value from what customers really say and then show that we can convince ourselves what to move forward with.
And when you talk about sort of driving innovation, sort of internal projects, sort of partnering with external partners as well too, I assume you're not just randomly doing R&D type projects, but you maybe have some themes. Can you maybe share with us what some of those themes are around areas you're looking for to invest time and effort and to develop partnerships around?
Absolutely. So one of the large theme is a smart grid. So we want to make sure that we can make our grid as reliable as possible, but also make sure that we can manage that grid in a very effective way as well. So we can reduce the cost of managing some of these large assets. Some of these equipment, they run for 20, 30 years, and you can imagine they're a huge investment. But rather than going for a time-based maintenance, so we can go to a predictive-based maintenance of these. And for that, that's where we need technologies such as AI and sensor data to understand what's happening in real time. That really helps in achieving our goals.
Okay. And I think we first met probably about 3 years ago, roughly 3 years ago. And so, we've been through, I think, a number of different projects together. But how has AWS helped you and your team during the last couple of years?
So when we had our concept of our energy app store, so what we needed was a platform that can quickly scale up and then can provide a lot of services right out of the box. So platform as a service, PaaS services are really important for us because it helps us incrementally progress. And when we looked at the different options, AWS was a natural fit for us because we had the infrastructure that was available and was available within the region and available in a very timely manner. Very, very important. And what we found was we could test and implement things really quickly. As an example, we looked at setting up a data infrastructure. And we immediately looked at AWS as an option, but naturally we're a utility, we've got large data sets, we've had lots of vendors coming in knocking on our door. But because we had the AWS PaaS services, we could spin up something with AWS and then test against our vendors as well and see what was the best fit. And in fact, for those cases, AWS was a better fit for us.
Fantastic to hear. Hey, one last question in this area of, again, innovation, technology, and sort of enterprise. And we talked about before that you operate in a more sort of traditional sort of industry. That might also mean that you have maybe staff that have been working with you for a very, very long time. This idea of sort of change and sort of driving change. Any suggestions or advice or observations around how you've been able to drive change and refocus on innovation within your organization?
Yeah, absolutely. I can raise two things. One is showing value quickly. So lots of large organizations, there's many discussions of what to do. But at least with technologies such as cloud, you can do things quickly and show proof points very quickly as well. So that's been a really help for us. The second thing I can talk about is aging within the industry as well. So within the utility space, it's an aging sector in general. But what we found is that there's a lot of experience with our staff that are near retirement that are looking for ways to trial new things. They've got the ideas, but they don't necessarily have the mechanisms within the existing organization to do that. So within the digital team that I run, we can go and test and trial these ideas really quickly and validate if these provide value as well.
So fantastic. So essentially, you're leveraging the industry experience and knowledge, and the years and years of experience that people have had in making sure that your systems and solutions have the uptime that are required. But then you're going and saying, hey, let's bridge that with partners or other teams that have maybe a different mindset of how to actually solve the actual problem?
Absolutely, absolutely. We've got the decades of experience on how to manage our grid, but it's within our context. So getting that context outside the industry and outside our region is really helpful. And that was also part of the philosophy that we thought about when we did some of our direct investments. So, as an example, we did an investment in a Silicon Valley big data company that focuses on orchestrating energy resources. So, you've got extra load on a chiller or maybe energy storage. You need machine learning and IoT and connectivity to make sure you can optimize these solutions. So, when we did the investment, we thought, well, it makes a lot of sense because this is where the future is heading, but also provides a lot of value for us within the organization as well.
Oh, fantastic. I want to thank you, Pubs, for spending time with us today and sharing with our audience some of the experiences and also platforms you've developed with CLP. So thanks very much for your time today.
Cheers.